Alright, welcome. In this session we're going to do what we call a double smoked ham on the Big Green Egg, and I'd like to take credit for this recipe, but I cannot. Fellow egghead John Hall and the guys over at TexasSmokingBarbecue.com, I give them all the credit for this recipe. It's their recipe. We've been making this for years and it's phenomenal around the holidays. So the links below to both their sites to give them the credit, and basically it's a pretty easy process overall. You just got to get the ingredients. So there's two key ingredients for the night before. One is the ham and the injection. All the injection is maple syrup. And then the glaze, which I've already mixed all of these ingredients here. And it's just a nice, thick, meaty, hearty glaze. And it calls for, all these ingredients, it calls for Jack Daniels. I personally put Woodford Reserve in there, just a little bit of different flavor. But first thing you're going to do the night before is you're going to take a half a cup to a cup of pure maple syrup, and you're going to inject it just like you do on anything. In the injection process, you always go down, and as you squeeze, you pull up. Go down, squeeze, pull up. Go down, squeeze, pull up. So I'm gonna basically inject this whole bit. This is 3/4 of a cup. This is a pretty big ham, but depending on how much ham and how much injection you want in there, that's what you're gonna do. And then at the end, you're gonna take this, and you're basically gonna mop this on here as a nice glaze. Get it on there good and thick, just about like that. You're gonna do that all the way around. After that's done and it's fully injected, we're gonna cover that over loosely with some plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator overnight. So I'm about to finish that up, and I'll see you in the morning. All right, so the ham is set overnight and we are ready to roll. So I've got the Big Green Egg set up, got the charcoal in, soaked my apple wood. I prefer apple wood with ham. I don't really think there's any other wood you should smoke a ham with but apple wood. And that's soaked overnight, and I put a good layer on top there, and that heat's climbing up to about 200. So I'm going to put the place setter in there, feet side up, and I'm not going to put a drip pan in there because if you'll notice, the ham I got was already cooked, so that's why it's called double cooked ham. So the ham doesn't need any moisture, it's already cooked. So now we're just going to let this stabilize like this, and once that grill reaches 225, we're going to put that ham on. So I'm going to put my temperature probe down here just to make sure it's at 225, and we'll close the lid. And I'm going to put that lid on. And open those up until it gets about 225, and then we'll put it on. And we are going to put on the ham. You're going to put the ham on flat side down, just like the turkey. I use these little gems here from Cuisinart. You can get them from anywhere. But you're going to put flat side down, no cover. And like I said before, this is a fully cooked ham. So the goal is not to raise temperature and cook the ham because it's already cooked. The goal is to put a rub on it, inject it, and actually put smoke into it. And the only way you can do that is keep the temperature low and slow at 225. So that's it. The ham's on. I'm going to put my internal temperature probe in the ham at the deepest part. And since the ham's already cooked, it's kind of counterproductive to think about this, but you want the temperature on the ham to get to 140. It's not 140 when the ham is right, but you know it's 140 when the ham is actually absorbed all the ingredients. But I'm going to close the lid, and it's going to take about 5 hours for this thing to be done. But in about 3.5 hours, that internal temp should get to about 120. Once it's at 120, I'm going to start glazing the ham with this recipe that I'm about to show you from the guys I showed you before. But for now, I'm going to keep this grill at 225. and once it gets to about 120 degrees, that's when I'm gonna prep it next. Alright, this ham's been on there for about 3.5 hours. The internal temp's right at 120, so about 20 minutes ago I put all the glaze ingredients on the stove at low heat and mixed it up. And now we're ready to glaze it. So I'm going to glaze it twice. I'm going to do it now and then again in 45 minutes. Just going to put a nice layer on there. Let that soak in. It'll start to caramelize here after this first glaze, and then the second glaze you'll basically put another layer on. It's going to caramelize on top of that already caramelized, and then that'll be good to go. So the grill's still at 225. I want to be pretty generous with this stuff. It makes enough for 2 glazes, no problem. The recipe is linked below, and I just follow it to a T. It's really good stuff. More bourbon, more maple. You don't want that fire to get up on you too. I'll get down, so I'm going to close this down. That'll stabilize to about 225 again here in a second, and then I'll put another batch on, and then we'll be ready to go. Alright, so it's been about 45 minutes, and I'm going to put round 2 of the glaze on there. Do the same thing. That's already getting sticky, so this is in good shape. And be pretty generous with this stuff. All the way around. Now I'm going to close this lid. The internal temp's about 130 right now. I'm going to close this lid and wait for it to get to 130, which usually takes about 45 minutes to an hour from this point. And that's going to give it enough time to really caramelize on the outside here. Just like if you've ever got a honey baked ham or a ham that's been glazed already from the store, that's what you want to get. So you want it to become nice and thick and caramelize. And then once you take that off, you can either put it in the fridge, save it for the next day and serve it cold, or you can serve it hot, or you can put it in the fridge, wrap it in foil, and then just put it in the oven the next day for about 45 minutes at 350 and just heat it up, and it's ready to go. So we're going to let that finish up. Alright, the internal temp on that ham is about 140 now, which is just about perfect. You can see that is caramelized very nice. So I'm going to take that off. I've got my utensils there. I'll take it off, put it inside. Alright, so it's off the grill inside. You can get a nice look at that. That looks delicious. So I'm actually going to wrap it in foil, let it cool for a little bit, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for overnight. We're going to have it tomorrow for Thanksgiving. The other option is to wrap it in foil, let it sit for an hour and rest, and then unwrap it, and it's ready to serve. So good luck. Enjoy.